going on, Jerome's? Beautiful Tuesday. Nailed it. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. So, first padded practice in the books yesterday, Monday, practice number 5, and a lot of fantastic things went on. Notably, Jalen Speedy Nailor, please stay healthy, done did it again. So, had 2 deep moonshot touchdowns, and Nailor's always had talent. But the problem is staying healthy. But it's clear that the Vikings have confidence in him. Like the Vikings, they outside of Trent Sherfield, like they didn't go hard in the patent free agency at the receiver position, nor did they spend a draft pick at that spot. So Jefferson, Addison, Jalen Speedy, Nailor, a little bit of Brandon Powell, maybe a little bit of Sherfield in there as well. But I mean, Speedy's interesting, man, and it's tough to say that a guy who has had injuries impact his availability over the last 5 years, even going back to Michigan State, is all of a sudden going to stay healthy and be that guy. But if he can, I mean, this passing game suddenly gets a lot of fun. So Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, Speedy Nailor, a little Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler out of the backfield. Let's go. Let's go, man. It's going to be fantastic. The guy who could be distributing the rock to them could be rookie J.J. McCarthy. Now, I do think that JJ has a fighting chance. He's looking good. He's minimizing mistakes. He's decisive. He's confident out there. He's just slanging that rock. Darnold has had some highs. He's had some lows. All right, so there's been a lot of variance there. But long story longer, we put it out to you, the Jeromes. Poll is J.J. McCarthy will be like Brock Purdy, an insult or a compliment. 2,500 voted, 34% said insult, 66% said compliment. You know that they're just trying to get to 69. Nice. But so Brock Purdy has basically become the poster child for, well, he's just a game manager, even though. So it falls somewhere in the middle. Like, do I think that Brock Purdy is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now? No. Do I think that he's just a check down merchant who's surrounded by the Avengers? No. Neither that. But his ADOT is up there. I think he had the highest ADOT in the league last year, or a minimum of his top 3. But you can't knock success. And McCarthy, to be honest, he's in a pretty similar, if not better, situation than Purdy in a lot of ways. Now, Christian McCaffrey obviously is a cheat code, even though he's getting up there in age. But I would take a healthy Hawkinson over Kittle. I'm taking Jefferson over Ayuk. I'm taking. Well, let's try it again. I will take Jefferson, Addison, and Jalen Speedy Nailor over Juwan Jennings, Debo, and Ayuk at this moment in time. Yeah. And Darisaw versus Trent Williams. I mean, Trent Williams is the ageless one, but Darisaw is going to be right up there very quickly. So they're in a similar spot with a West Coast minded, play action oriented coach in Kevin O'Connell here, Shanahan there. And Purdy, I mean, you have to respect what he's done. So you could say hashtag QB wins, but he's gone to the Super Bowl in year 2. I mean, first round picks don't even do that, let alone, well, Dan Marino did it, and then he never got back in year 2. But, I mean, let alone the last pick in the friggin' draft, right? So I would say out of the gate, I mean, if McCarthy can emulate Purdy the first couple years, yes, but also I think that with McCarthy's physical tools and attributes, I think that he obviously has a higher ceiling than Brock Purdy. I think Purdy's pretty close to the cap on his ceiling. I think that's where he's going to be. And will he be perennially a top 10 to 12 pick, top 10 to 12 quarterback? I mean, sure. But also it's going to be interesting with the Niners because they have some decisions to make. Will they pay Trent Williams? Will they pay Ayuk? What's going to happen with McCaffrey as he gets older? What's going to happen when Brock Purdy, after the season, is eligible for an extension and all of a sudden he's making $57-60 million a year and impacting the salary cap? Well, what happens when they don't have that dominant defense anymore? So we're going to see what Brock Purdy's made of, man. But with McCarthy, long story longer, we'll take the first couple of years. And again, Purdy, I like that Purdy plays within himself, sort of takes what's there. I think McCarthy pushes the envelope a little bit more. But also I think that's part of why his ceiling is going to be a lot higher. Oh, there you go. One of the reasons why his ceiling will be high is Jefferson and Addison. All right, so Vikes fan page compiled the initial Madden rankings for Madden 25. Jefferson 98, which is Fubar. Like, I understand that Tyreek Hill is good. I just don't even understand the conversation of people who think that Tyreek Hill is better than Justin Jefferson. I just don't get it. But Tyreek in the 99 club, Justin Jefferson falls from grace. 99 club last year, 98 this year. CD, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, all 96, 95, blah, blah, blah. Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, Diggs is still up there. Really? Ayuk with a 91. Ayuk's a better receiver than Debo. Straight up. The Mike Evans still doing the damn thing. Now, should Puka be up there? I mean, probably. Yeah, but we got some beef there. The rest of the Vikings receivers, Addison, A2. I think that's fair. Head into year 2, Trent Sherfield, 73. Brandon Powell, 72. Speedy with a 69. I wonder what his health rating is. And then Tristan Jackson with the cruising down the street in my 6'4". That's right. But, the whole thing about Jefferson, 98, 99, whatever. Well, actually, I kind of like that they gave him 98 because I feel like that would put a chip on his shoulder. How can they do this to me? I got 1,000 yards in 10 games last year. Shoot. Also with the Madden ratings, Josh Metellus clocked in at a 77. Like, he's the third best safety on the team. Now, I will say that Harrison Smith at 87, a little bit high. Beezy at 81, Metellus 77, obviously low, so I guess it evens out. Cine at a 70. Carry on my J Word son at 69, but Metellus, damn EA, Madden, NFL, what else I got to do? It's a good point. It's a very, very good point. Frankly, I feel like Metellus should have been a Pro Bowler last year, but this rating, as well as the ESPN anonymous executive coaches and scouts rankings, were not even top 10, not even honorable mention, so not even in the top 15 of safeties in the league. Bruh. Now, maybe it's a case where Metellus is so positionally amorphous, they hold that against him, that they don't see versatility as a virtue, which would be stupid. Ridiculous, man. Speaking of great safeties, so Cameron Beezy Bynum had himself a day, had a interception, had a PBU, just looking good all the way around. Pay Cameron Bynum. And also, so, the clip that, obviously we didn't post, but the clip of him picking off Darnold is pretty damn fantastic. First off, it was a terrible throw by Darnold. Plus, not sure what the alignment was, but it looked like Beezy undercut Jefferson's route and just ran it for him. Like, Beezy looked like the receiver in the clip, not Justin Jefferson. So, 24 is going to just have a fantastic season. I think that it would behoove the Vikings to extend Beezy at, 3 years, $36 million, $12 million a year AV, and maybe like $20 million guaranteed in there, versus if and when he blows up this season, if and when he gets his mitts on 5, 6, 7 interceptions. Probably should have had 6 last year, but he dropped a few of them. And then all of a sudden, we're looking at top tier of the safety money. Yeah, I would take care of Beezy now and make this thing a movie. Other end of the spectrum for safeties. So the interesting thing has Cine being what, don't want to say it's a healthy scratch because you never know, because training camp, you don't have to report injuries, but the fact that he's just been watching on the sidelines over the past 2 practices, it does make you wonder, are they holding him out of practice in case he gets dinged up because Kwesi's trying to work out a trade? It's a possibility. Lewis Cine was a first-round pick, and he was regarded as a late first, early second-round pick. So, a lot of teams, I'm sure, had Cine high on their draft boards before the Vikings took him at number 32. Hell, Howie Roseman's collected former Georgia defenders like Pokemon, so why not get Charizard? Or I don't know what Pokemons are, but Cine, I don't know, man. Like, Cine obviously does have some talent, but there's such a freaking logjam at the safety spot, and now you have Bobby McCain in there as well. So I just don't see how he's going to rise at this point, because with Bobby McCain's not even out here. But with Harrison, Beezy, Metellus, Jay Ward, even if he plays a little bit of corner, Theo Jackson in that mix too. Like, I just don't see a path for Cine to not even start, but also not even make the 53. So if they're able to get something for him and he's able to have a fresh start, I think it may be the best for all parties involved at this point. I have no transition to Adam Rank. So I haven't seen if he has the Vikings prediction out, which is always hilariously just horrible. Like, he's the pendulum swing, because obviously I'm the homer, but also just being negative doesn't make you realistic. It's kind of funny, man. But Adam Rank, I do respect his homerism because he's basically like the Bears equivalent of me. But he predicts the Bears go 12-5. But what's interesting is that one of the 5 losses is to the Vikings Week 15 Monday Night Football, the Winter Warrior game. He probably picked the Vikings to go 1-16, but he picked them to beat the Bears on Monday night. It's funny, man. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see Rank's full Vikings predictions. Hell, it might be out, and I'm just too lazy to find it. But then I'm sure that I will flip a T, because that's what I do on these things. Wrapping up. So the connection between Kevin O'Connell and Kirk Cousins was good. I mean, frankly, Kirk was playing some of the best ball of his career the 2 years that they were here with the Vikings. I think that O'Connell's offense suited Cousins' skill set. But at the end of the day, the business is a business. Kirk is going to be 36, and he's coming off a torn ACL. Vikings weren't crazy about giving him huge guaranteed money, and Kirk took the Falcons cash, right? 4 years, $180 million, $100 million guaranteed, guarantees through 2.5 seasons. So I don't blame him. Also, did you know that his wife's from Georgia? But Kurt was on with Chase Daniel on the Scoop City podcast and talking about how he decided to turn away from the Vikings. This is what Chase tweeted out. Chase Daniel, Vikings killer, by the way. Kevin O'Connell told Kirk Cousins before the draft, quote, "If we re-sign you, it's highly unlikely we'll draft another quarterback. They still only offered him 1-year deals. He knows things can change in the NFL, but it doesn't make it any easier." And Kurt went on to talk about how basically O'Connell said, like, hey, if you resign here, it's highly unlikely we probably won't be drafting a quarterback high, because we're going to roll with you, because if we give you a long-term deal, that's what it's going to be. But I mean, Kurt sort of understands that, things change and the business is the business, and he laid that out. I mean, it's clear that he still holds Kevin O'Connell in high regard, and he doesn't really blame him per se. But I mean, there are tough decisions there, and Kurt. I mean, when Kurt talked about the money, where he said it's not all about the money, it's what the money represents. Basically, the guarantee means confidence. We have 2.5 years of confidence in you versus 1 year, and the Vikings reportedly went up to guarantees of 1.5 seasons. So if the Vikings moved on after this season, it would cost them guaranteed money, and Kurt would get it, and blah 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 blah. Right? But either way, it didn't work out, and like the Lewis Cine situation, maybe it worked out the best for both parties involved. I mean, the Vikings are obviously good to go with J.J. McCarthy as the future of the franchise. And Cousins, he got his money, and at the end of the day, that's what matters most to him. Now, he's got to hold off Michael Penix, which I don't know if he will. I feel like, so Kurt's probably not going to play a ton in preseason. Michael Penix is going to show up and show out and just completely shred defenses, dropping piss missiles all over the place. The southpaw slinging Sammy Bradford. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be good. But that's it. Vikings news dump for this beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol, production value.